Hey party people, this is Jeremy on Board Game Revolution. You may know me as Jamali Plays Games, and today we're talking about Wild Assent, which is published by Lazy Squire Games. This is a 1 to 4 fully cooperative game, and yes, this is solo city all the way up to 4. No matter what player count you have to use these 4 characters. They are called Seekers in this game, and Seekers are basically hunters. Think of any game when you go out on the hunt and you're trying to bring back resources, and you're actually trying to bring back these creatures. And it's basically set in a world where this is normal, and this is kind of done not only for sport, but also kind of like to earn your freedom. And these people have come not only for that, but also like the glory. They come out of, they've come out of nowhere for, basically the glory of battle and the seeking of money and things like that. So what are you doing in this one? You are going over 10 survival rounds. So there's the hunt and there's also arena, which I will not touch on. But we are in the survival mode, which is 10 rounds that increase in difficulty. And there's also a scenario version. I did not get a chance to see that, but let's just go ahead and get to the game. So there's a lot that goes on there. I've been playing the heck out of this survival mode. Okay, so you have your 4 seekers, and your 4 seekers have different setups. They have basically, these powers are based on what they have in their encampment, which we're going to touch on in a little bit, but I just want to kind of show you what the gameplay looks like over here. You're going to have the passive powers and things like that, but depending on where your encampments are and what buildings you have, you're going to have more powers. You also have your kind of your crit power and your passive powers. Now this guy, of course, he's more based on just beating people down. He doesn't have a lot of movement. He chucks a lot of dice and he has a lot of power, but he's no range. He's just going to get up in your face and fight. Okay, so we have Fani over here. Fani is like the woman, the beast of the wild. She knows how to get around. She doesn't have a lot of attack dice, but she hits hard. She uses the field to her advantage. Number 5. One thing that's really cool about her is she's great for position. So she can flip. She can actually move and flip over people and get behind them and attack them. That gives you a +2 bonus. That's awesome. Okay. Then you have Berlin over here, who is like your magic person, and he does attack, he does heal, but he also has like a little bit of combat damage, so kind of paladinish. I like that. But yes, has like the healing. Also can re-roll dice, and I'll show you why dice are not the end-all be-all of the gameplay. It's more so about the strategy. All right, and then we have my favorite, which is pretty much how I play a lot of games. Basically Ranger and Rogue kind of like stuff, sort of like this. She attacks from distance, Ilithenia, and she cripples characters. So she has she's an elf. She cripples characters. Then she gets in there and starts striking them and piercing people. She can pierce 2 people at once. She's just got a lot of interesting things going into it. And so do all of these. But so do these beasts, okay? And these people you're fighting, they all have their own AI decks, and they get shuffled together, and you never know which one's coming out. We'll take turns going and whatnot, but guess what? It's going to be ugly. You don't know what's coming next and where it's coming from. But let's just take even a look at the roster that we have here. So we have the Demon Wretch, which is really terrible because if you roll certain ones, they get these little spawn out there and also assist and pester you. You have the very high defensive Horn Golem, and yes, I'm going to bring these minis towards you because they look great, even in prototype form. This is absolutely ridiculous. When I got the prototype, I was like, are you kidding me? You're sending me these awesome minis with it? But yeah, these are great. The Phoenix, who actually rises, of course, after you kill him. Terrible. And this nasty little Audrey, you ever see a Little Shop of Horrors? Looks like Little Shop of Horrors. Really cool. This Wildflower. But they have range, and they hurt. They just hurt. I've never fought against the Griffin, fortunately. And we have the Streamcaller, which is actually in our roster. Attacks back. High defense, by the way. High defense from physical and magical, and high hit points. River Dragon is rough too. You can only fight when they're next to him. I just like these minis. I just want to show them to you. See, I'm a gameplay over everything person, but these minis are so dang on good, I have to talk about them. All right, so what do we have? We have our field of combat, and we're going to look at this scout card because this is how the board is seated, and that's important when we get to the encampment phase. We'll touch on that later, but it'll say, hey, like, the Seekers have on activation, they are assigned 1 damage, and all these cards and all the areas that you go to and the maps you'll go to will have something that you're up against. And then they'll also have, hey, what am I seeding this with? Level 1s, 2s, 2s, and 2s. All right, so you have to pay attention to that, and that's going to determine how this is all played out. Even these little things right here, these obstacles, partial cover, full cover, these like traps right here and things like that, they're all determined by roles and choices that you need to make and positioning. Like I said, such a tactical game and a true strategy game, not just some dice chucker. That's the thing. Sometimes we dispel these things as just dice chuckers, and you chuck dice, but they work differently in this game. All right, so everything's about position, and I'm going to activate some characters and just show you how that works. So for Fani, it's important that she uses her distance. She has a distance of 2, and I can move back and forth, left and right, but if I wanted to attack somebody adjacent, I actually have to move an action point just a turn, okay? But I don't need that. I'm going to move back 1 space, and I'm going to be 2 away. It's important because Mr. Demon Wretch here activates if you're right next to him, so I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to roll her 1 die. But I'm automatically still going to have a base damage of 4. So that I'm going to have 4 damage regardless. Okay, so let me roll this die. Okay, so I really have the best result. I have an attack, which is going to be, actually no, I don't have. I have a crit. But this is attack. It's going to be actual 5 damage no matter what, because I'm going to add 4 plus 1. Now if I rolled a blank, I would still have 4. And if I rolled this special right here, I would still have 5, but if I had a power that would activate because of that, it would activate. So we go with the 5 damage. That's a good thing, okay? And I have, let's see, this demon over here. Yeah, probably I should have moved it from before, but it was on 14. It should be 8. Okay, so now I'm good to go there. I don't have anything that conditions that will trigger. Wait, I do. I have my Zaxos over here, and he is adjacent to someone that was just attacked. Sorry about that. He was adjacent to someone that was attacked, and guess what his power is? Teamwork. Love it. You're going to need a lot of that in this game. An adjacent enemy that is attacked makes a 4 attack dice attack against the enemy. All right, so I'll just go ahead and gather my 4 dice and go ahead and just hit 4 awesome rolls, right? Here we go. Oh, let's see here. What do we got? We got 2 misses. We got 2 misses and 2 hits. We'll take that. So that's 2 damage. I'm going to go ahead and look at the monster's damage again. It's physical, so he's going to take that 2 damages. And that's great, fine and dandy. Okay, so I'm going to take that down. That's all fine and dandy. But also that triggers good old Demon Wretch's power as well. So he's actually going to end up taking bleed in defense. Okay, so it's not sweet, man. It's just not sweet in this game. And he's going to take damage every time. By the way, because of this board, and because of the activation thing, good old good old Fani over here is just going to take 1 damage anyway. Okay, that's not cool. Then the monsters get to activate. Okay, so we kind of take turns alternate. I'm just going to show you one more, and that's pretty much it. Exalted Efficiency. This is this little nasty right here. It's going to attack with Swift Careful. Okay, and all the AI cards look like this. They're going to say, hey, who are they pinpointing? How far are they going to move? Like moving carefully and swiftly means diagonal. Like diagonal. We can't move in diagonals. Characters only can move in diagonals if they say that, and that's swift. But it's going to say, hey, this is a magical attack. How far away? The base damage is 5. Ugh, boy. Actually, no, the base damage is 6. This is a level 5 is level 2, and it's going to chuck 3 dice. Man, this is ugly. This is ugly, and believe me, some areas and some boards actually have +2. Oh, man, this is the worst result ever in history of examples. All right, so here we go. We have 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so 8 damage. Okay, that's not good. All right, 8 damage to good old Ilithena. So 8 damage all the way down. So 8. Let's see, that's 6. So 8. Let's see, 2, 6, 14. There we go. Sorry, bad math right there. Ooh, jeez. All right, so what's the whole deal of this game? Okay, so we know the fight, right? The big one is trapping. Okay, so we want to trap these creatures, and what we have to do is actually risk it all and get up in there. So we have Zaxos over here. Zaxos, sorry about that, I got my hands in front of the camera. We want Zaxos over. He's going to go over there and risk it. When he does that, we're going to need a crew of people to come around, but he's the first one. When you try to trap these creatures, you have to take damage. So he's going to activate. He's going to take 2 damage. Now I need a teammate. We're just going to kind of simulate this to come over here next to him and also take 2 damage and trap. Okay? And they're going to have to do this twice. If that creature activates during that time, okay, luckily we didn't, but let's say if the creature activates during that time, let's see, if the Demon Wretch activates, they take another 2 damage. But then what happens is they take 2 more damage and they outnumber them by level. This is level 1, so they need 2, and then they get to capture them. Now you could kill them and get bits and junk and eyes and stuff like that, but you want to capture this animal. You want to capture them. Why? Because they're worth money. and according to their level, they're worth a certain amount of money. Now, that was a level 1. If it was a level 2, I need 3 people to come around them to capture them and risk their health. Takes people off the battlefield, which is good, but at the same time, it's really risky. And that's what this game is about. It is about tactics, strategy, and things like that, and positioning. But I want to show you how that works out well for you. So in this game, like I said, we're killing, we're bringing back resources, the hunt, and now the camp. And we're going to get over to the camp and show you how you prepare for all this and use what you got in the field of combat. All right, party people, hold up. Let's switch to that. Take care. Here we go. All right, party people, we are back at the camp, and the encampment part is probably more important than the hunt, and this is why. Because this is how you're going to recover. You're not going to be healthy when you come back. You're not going to be in good shape. And unlike a lot of games where you come back, you're in full health, you're great, you get auto heals. No, this is not full health refresh. Hey, everything's refreshing. This is survival, okay? Remember I said this is survival mode, so you are going to have to survive. You're coming back licking your wounds, and you have all these buildings that will help you do a lot of things. They'll help you hire new workers. They'll help you capture these creatures and put them away so that you can, sell them, okay, for gold, because gold is going to be the rule. This is what you need. You need that money, okay, probably in real life and also in this game. All right, it's very important. So we'll just start with the buildings and importance to me, at least, when I play this game. The barracks are going to be the biggest heart of it all because that's going to give you your biggest portion of healing. And everything is contingent upon what levels you are. There's 1, 2, and 3, and as you go up those levels, it amplifies what happens here. So for example, the barracks heals all seekers 5, 6, or 7, and that's important, each encounter, and houses 2 to 4 workers, 2, 4, 6 workers. So as you upgrade that building, you're going to be able to add more people to this area to help you, okay? And they're going to also have items that you can build and stuff because they're there, okay? So I'll get to that in a second, but I just want to make sure we get through all the other buildings. Now you have the Temple of V here, the Vil, and this one's going to heal people, okay? So it's going to heal per action. You're going to have to use actions. You only have 5, so it's very important what you do with them. Then you have the craftsperson. So for one, you can craft things. And crafting means if you have the bits, I call them the bits, the guts and the eyes and things like that, you can go to these special workers and build some of the things they have. So we got the chains, we got all these potions and different types of things they can build. They don't even have all of them. This is just in prototype form, so I just want you to see this stuff. But they have all these various types of people. They have different types of things they can craft and make battle easier for you just by their presence. So this one right here is the monster hunter, and they have wrangling, which means it makes it easier for you to start capturing these creatures because when they're at half health, you can catch them. But this one is half health plus 5. Definitely one of my favorites. Thankfully, I got that one first. That helped me a lot. So yeah, so we do all these actions here. I have one right here that's going to help us with scouting, which is very important. We're going to talk about that. And sometimes you need to store these creatures. Creatures are so important in this game. Like I said, they are for gold. So you have a place where you can store them and sell them. You upgrade this higher, you get to sell them for more, and that's so important. You can actually keep one in here as well. I forgot to talk about that, but you can upgrade these things. So why are these all so important? These buildings are so important because they actually upgrade your powers. So as you can see, the barracks and certain ones, like they're just more important to other ones. But I'll tell you, overall, having that barracks, upgrade it, will get you closer to having the best powers. So it's so important to figure out what the plan is here. What's the real plan? And I learned that both phases are important, but this one right here, what you do with those action points, these 5 action points, because I didn't even talk about the silver stream where you actually do sell them. So you actually have 5 of these. These are not part of the game, but you take these chips away, and now all of a sudden, if we want to go do all the trading and upgrading our buildings and things like that, we're taking out chunks. We want to craft stuff. We want to, maybe build a building. We have to go to the silver stream and start spending these. We're spending these like crazy. But the one thing I left out, and the most important thing, is scouting. Okay, so once you have this building, you have to scout before you go out, and your last 2 actions need to be spent on scouting, and you got to take 2 people's last 2 actions to do so. That stinks, but it kind of stops you from doing what you need to do. And you get to pull from this deck 2, whatever, and you have to choose one of these. And you choose one, now you know where you're going, you know who you're fighting, what you're up against, good to go. Great, I can prepare now. But the problem is, if you don't do that, things start to get a little hairy. You don't want to have what's called a derelict encampment. What that calls for is basically you're going to have another round of this, which seems good, sort of, But at the same time, you have a bigger issue. If you do it again, you make it desperate and you do it again, now you have to go out. Now you have to go out and pay a price. You may have to fight higher level people. You may have your workers at risk. When you come back, it may damage your encampment. Really crazy stuff going on. This area is so important. There's a lot of things up against you. And that's why I said, like, if you've ever played Kingdom of Death Monster, this is similar. It's going to hurt. It's going to be scary. You got to make some serious meaty choices. I'll talk a little bit more about this in my final thoughts, but that is pretty much a kind of a good run overview of Wild Assent here. Okay, let's talk about my final thoughts and impressions on the game. My final thoughts on Wild Assent. This game is very, very interesting. Now, I know this is a paid preview and you're thinking, oh man, you're going to inject it with happiness and joy. Honestly, that's who I am anyway. If a game's good, it's good. And this one is really good, even in prototype form. The minis look cool, and honestly, I'm a gameplay over everything person, and that's actually why I like this game. It is very tactical, it has a lot of that strategy of how we're going to get behind characters, how we're going to team up to activate other people's passive powers. There's a lot of things that you really need to be aware of and think of how I'm going to work these things to my advantage, because you need to kill some of these, some of these creatures fast, or you need to capture them, and capturing them costs your life. I mean, you're going to be getting hit for 2 points each time you stay there, and then if the monster card gets drawn, which I didn't even talk about, if the monster card is drawn, the AI card is drawn while you're trying to trap them, you get 2 more attack against you. There's a lot, okay? I mean, there's a horn, that's like a horned rhinoceros character I showed you before. That one has 5 physical damage, so you really have to watch who you're attacking with. And then they just bowls over. If his card comes up after that, he's just going to bowl over your weaker characters. So it's got that level of strategy, and it gears up pretty quickly. You're going to come back. Your wounds, you can't just lick your wounds. You got all kinds of wounds. You got to heal those. So that means you got to pay attention to your encampment. And sometimes you got to risk it and not scout just so you can get more actions. And there's a lot of stuff going on here. So there's 2 parts to the game, and both of them are very important. And I like that because you're never running out of interesting decisions to make, and it always feels like you're in strategy mode and not necessarily like, oh, I'll just go out here and chuck some dice. And the thing is when you chuck those dice, it's not the end of the world if you don't get the best rolls. You still get the attack points, but you get bonuses as you add those bonus attack as you add them. And that's kind of special to me because certain games, I mean, like even Kingdom of Death Monster, which is one of my favorite games, you roll those dice, you miss. that is not fun. But it's also thematic, and that's why I like this one. It's like, these people are great. They get great skills. As you build those encampments up, you get more skills. There's just a lot of good little systems in there, and I'm sure they'll tweak a couple things. I was having an issue with the gold not being, rampant in this game. That's not a big deal. I think that they can be worked on. As soon as I contacted the publisher about that, they said they're kind of addressing those types of things to development. Like I said, prototype form, always in development, man, till you get the box. But yeah, there's just so much good going on. If the prototype is any indication of what that final product is going to look like, this is going to be a good final product. But until then, they got to fund. And until then, we got to break more stretch goals so they can, add more characters possibly. I like the characters, and I want more of them if I'm going to see a final product. So I'll leave that all up to you. I can't tell you what to do with your money, but I think this is a pretty awesome game if you're looking for high strategy. You're looking for making smart decisions with your resources. If you're just looking for a good, meaty game to play, but still get that good Dungeon Crawler feel, Monster Hunter feel, Final Fantasy Tactics feel, KDM feel, this might be your next game. And that is Wild Assent by Lazy Squire Games. And with that, this is Jeremy from Board Game Revolution and JamaliaPlays.com. Thank you for your time. Please leave comments, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Come see me on Board Game Revolution on Fridays at 7 p.m. Where we show off a whole bunch of awesome games. But that's going to be it for this Kickstarter preview. Thank you for your time, party people, and take care.